It brings me great pleasure to introduce our next guest, representing an organization that the VFW is extremely proud to be affiliated with, the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration. Not only has VFW partnered with this impactful organization on a national level, but hundreds of VFW writer groups, posts, districts, and departments across America have also signed on as partners to ensure that Vietnam veterans receive the recognition and thank you they deserve. And I thank you for that. Here with us today to speak more about the efforts of the commemoration is a graduate of the Sergeant's Major Academy, both the U.S. Army and Republic of Korea Rangers Schools, and the Canadian Airborne School. He's a retired Army Command Sergeant Major who has 32 years of active military service to include a variety of assignments with conventional forces, special forces, and Ranger units. He has received a host of awards and decorations to include the Legion of Merit and Bronze Star, both with one oak leaf cluster, the Purple Heart, and the Meritorious Service Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters. Please welcome, from the United States of America Vietnam War Commemoration, a fellow VFW Life member, Mr. Jimmie Spencer.
Thank you, sir. Good. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you very much for allowing me to be here as we honor all veterans of all foreign wars. It's special for me to be here. And thanks for that great introduction. It wasn't necessary. The only thing that I would like for you to know about me is that I'm a Vietnam veteran and I'm damn proud of it. And whoever put me behind this young man who spoke with, I need to talk to him because that's a very hard act to follow. He's just a wonderful young person. Memorial Day 2012, I was with a small group of Vietnam veterans who were invited to a ceremony at the Vietnam Wall, the Vietnam War Commemoration Commission, Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. The host of this event was the Secretary of Defense, and the President of the United States was a speaker. And what he said that day was pretty remarkable as far as I'm concerned. He said that the Vietnam War era was a very troubling chapter in American history, a chapter that we should never, ever repeat again. It was a time when we blamed the veterans, we blamed the warriors for a war that they didn't start. It was a time when many Americans could not separate their support for the war with their support for the warrior. It was a time when we seemed to focus on the misdeeds of a few rather than the valor of the many. It was a time that we will never, ever repeat again. It was a time when we denigrated our soldiers when we should have been celebrating their service and sacrifice and valor. And as I was sitting there listening to the President, I was thinking about another memorial some miles north of Washington, D.C., in a place called Sharpsburg, Virginia. Sharpsburg is the site of the bloodiest single battle in the Civil War. And in that town, there's a memorial to the Battle of Antietam, a cemetery filled with the dead of that great battle. And in the center of that cemetery is a monument. And that monument is the form of a larger-than-life soldier dressed in the uniform of the day. But he actually represents every soldier who has ever fought in every war that Americans have been involved in. And at the base of that monument that overlooks the graves, it simply says, not for themselves, but for their country. Not for themselves, but for their country. Now, what the President was doing that day was thanking and honoring Vietnam veterans, but he was also kicking off the Vietnam War Commemoration Commission. And I happen to be part of that. I have the distinct honor to be part of that. And it's my mission in life to thank and honor Vietnam veterans. And before I leave here today, it is my mission, it is my goal to shake your hands, present you with a lapel pin, and thank you for your service. I was looking at the president with the wall behind him, that black granite wall with names on it, and I understood basically the real price of freedom with those 58,000 plus names there, every one of them representing a young person who we lost way too soon, a young person who will never know the joy of finding a soulmate and to spend his life with, to share his life with. Every one of those names on that wall represents the unbelievable pain that a mother must have felt when she received a phone call, a telegram, or a knock on the door telling her that the love of her life had been extinguished forever. Every name on that wall represents a young person who did their duty, who answered the call, not for fame or fortune, not to occupy 1 inch of foreign land, but they did it for the same reasons that their forefathers did. They did it to liberate the oppressed, to free the enslaved, to lend a helping hand to those who needed a helping hand. They did it not for themselves, but for their country. For those that we've lost, we owe them an eternal gratitude for the freedom that we all enjoy, and we sometimes regrettably take for granted. We will never forget them. For those who came home, all 58,000 of us, all but the 58,000, my mission is to thank you and honor you. And if you go by our booth in the exhibit hall, I will present you with a Pell pen, a handshake, and on behalf of a grateful nation, welcome you home. Thank you. Hua.